Good morning. Thank you all for coming. We're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to bring up Supervisor and Sacramento County Board Chair Phil Cerna to get us started.
Great. Thank you, Jana. So good morning and welcome to members of the local media that have joined us here in Chambers this morning to hear from a group of local elected leaders, all of whom share a very strong position as it relates to a recently hastily introduced piece of legislation from Senator Angelique Ashby. I'll start by saying that I think we all wish that we weren't, that we didn't have to be here. But unfortunately, what has transpired over the last 2.5 weeks is regrettable, very unfortunate. And that is what has really inspired us to be here and explain the position that we hold, why we hold it. We certainly want to give our constituents through the media a clear understanding of what constitutes our position, why we're opposed to the bill as is. So you're going to hear from myself. You're going to hear from Supervisor Rich Desmond, who happens to be one of two supervisors who sits on a long-standing now, years-long-standing 2x2 collaborative effort with the City of Sacramento on the subject of how best to deliver homeless services. You're going to hear from the Mayor of the City of Folsom, Sarah Aquino. We're expecting Daryl Rogers, who I believe is yet to arrive. He is the Continuum of Care Vice Chair, and of course, we have Sacramento City Council Member Phil Pluckybaum, who represents the 4th District for the city, and I believe he is going to be speaking for himself and also conveying much of the sentiment by the City of Sacramento Mayor Kevin McCarty. So with that, I'll just go ahead and get into kind of the substance of our opposition to the bill. This is SB 802. First of all, the bill was a surprise to many of us, myself included. I learned about the bill via a text message on a Friday before a Monday press conference at which the author, Senator Ashby, had expected, I think, more local support than she actually had at her press conference to introduce the bill. This is a gut and amend. It's a textbook gut and amend. And what's unfortunate about that is the fact that this is a very complex subject. That is the subject of the delivery, best delivery, efficient and effective delivery of homeless services for a very large county with numerous municipalities. And so learning about that as late as we did, not being invited well before that to have a seat at the table and work collaboratively with the author is very regrettable. I think the product of the bill as is reflects the fact that it does not constitute a collaboration in good spirits between the cities and the county and our senator. We do know that the senator is very well intentioned. I think she's spot on when it comes to having an interest in the most effective delivery of homeless services that we can enjoy and have here in Sacramento County. But quite frankly, this is not the way to legislate. You don't spring on local government those that are on the ground delivering these services, fighting for these resources, especially with the backdrop of the Trump administration doing what it's doing, meaning that the introduction of a great amount of uncertainty in terms of our partnerships with HUD. It is just adding more complexity, unnecessary complexity to the job that we're attempting to do. The bill, as I understand it, and I have not had a conversation with the author. I wasn't really invited to, as chair, to participate in any development of the language up to the press conference that she had to introduce the bill. But the spirit that we're told of the bill is one of collaboration. Well, if that were true, we would have been there to explain the nuance of what the county does and is attempting to do, and quite frankly, is in the process of doing to enhance collaboration with our municipal partners and with our nonprofit partners here in Sacramento County. In fact, as soon as just a few weeks from now in August, the Board of Supervisors has asked staff to come back and give us some insights and options about how to do things better or possibly better, working with not just the Sacramento Housing Redevelopment Agency, but with our Continuum of Care. There is a strong interest, and I give a lot of credit to Vice Chair Rodriguez as the newest member of the board for kind of raising up that interest in doing things as best we can, holding ourselves accountable. If you look at the point-in-time count, for instance, I think we're 4th in the state of California in terms of the percentage drop in point-in-time numbers of any county. So I think that speaks well to the fact that collaboration is working, and our partnerships are blooming to be much more effective and be what you want it all to be, which is a better day and a new day for those that are our most vulnerable constituents. I will tell you that we think one of the principal defects in the legislation is, quite frankly, the legality of it. It purports to force the establishment of a new JPA, and our county council has scrutinized the bill language. We have had some other outside legal minds do the same, and we've concluded that it clearly violates state law and perhaps even federal law in terms of how funding is directed through continuum of cares. And so that is going to be first and foremost our principal and consistent message to the author and to the committees, by the way, that are going to be hearing the bill tomorrow, both Assembly Housing and local government. So that is kind of a backdrop for the process, as well as some of the substantive reasons why we believe that the bill is poorly timed. It does not reflect collaboration. It's, we believe, is quite frankly illegal. And the most important part of this is we think it actually puts at risk our ability to satisfy the intent, which is to better serve our homeless populations. So with that, what I'd like to do now is bring up my colleague, Supervisor Rich Desmond, who I previously stated has been working very hard as one of 2 board members working with our colleagues down the street at the City of Sacramento on the City Council for, what, 3 years now, I believe, to again enhance our ability to be responsive to the needs of our common constituents. So with that, Supervisor Rich Desmond.
Thank you, Chair Cernan, and thank you all for being here today. I'll be brief with my comments, but I did want to just say a few words as the supervisor up here who was heavily involved in that effort to craft a city-county partnership between the County of Sacramento and the City of Sacramento to really demonstrate that there's a better way to coordinate between the largest 2 jurisdictions in Sacramento County. And the great feature of that effort was that, yes, it took a lot of time, but that was a reflection of the complexity of the issue and the differences in resources, the differences in jurisdiction, the differences sometimes in ideology in different jurisdictions. We crafted this agreement, which I think has resulted in a lot of progress between the city and county, certainly in terms of our better level of coordination. And you heard from Chair Cerna that the proof is really in the pudding. We have seen a decrease in unsheltered homelessness in Sacramento County. But I think that was also an effort. It was the first of its kind in the state. It was something that was celebrated by the county and the City of Sacramento as the best way to approach these kinds of things. That's why I applaud Senator Ashby. She's a friend. She is a leader in Sacramento County, and I think she's really in a unique position to take her desire to improve coordination and collaboration and bring us all together in an effort that's similar to the city-county partnership, to really delve into the nuances of this issue, the funding issues, the potential unintended consequences that Chair Cerna talked about. And I think that, one thing that I think is the hallmark of Sacramento County and all the jurisdictions in the county and the elected officials is we work very well together. We spend a lot of time working on developing relationships with each other. We go to cap as part of the biggest delegation to Washington, D.C. every year to advocate for things that are going to make Sacramento County and our region better. That is what we are used to doing. I think this is contrary to that approach. And I think Senator Ashby, I plead with her to pause and bring everybody together to really chart a better way, build on what the partnership that the city and county struck a couple years ago, and truly develop a coordinated approach that's going to address all of the issues and not have the unintended consequences that I really fear from SB 82 if it moves ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Desmond. I'm going to extend the same courtesy to my other colleagues on the board who I believe both wish to say a few words. And by the way, Supervisor Kennedy would be with us today. He's out of country, but I know he's been monitoring these developments as it relates to SB 802 very closely while he's not currently present. So with that, I'd like to bring up our Vice Chair for the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors, Rosario Rodriguez, who represents the 4th District.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosario Rodriguez. I am a Sacramento County supervisor representing District 4. When I ran for Sacramento County supervisor, one of the major decisions that why I did this is because of homelessness. In 2023, I was the mayor for the city of Folsom and experienced an influx of homelessness into the city without the resources we had to address the problem. And at the time, it was very evident that we were, the city of Folsom, and I'm sure all the other cities were working in silos, but yet we were dealing with the impact of decisions that were made here at the county and with the city of Sacramento. And it was at that point that I was such a belief that jurisdictional approach to the problem is what has to be done, but not through a bill like Senate Bill 802. Senate Bill 802 will create much more bureaucratic barriers to addressing the issues of homelessness. We have a plan. I really commend Chair Cerna for creating a meeting that will allow all the cities and the county to come together and start talking about the issues, because this bill will not address the issues that are currently facing us: the shortage of shelters, the shortage of permanent supportive housing, the barriers of getting people into behavioral health, and addressing the issue as a whole. It is so important that we communicate and understand the decisions that are made that impact the entire county. But this bill is not going to address the problem. It'll create more barriers and more bureaucratic issues to the problem. We have the ability, we have the leadership today with both the city of Sacramento, with here at the county, and throughout all the other cities throughout the county to be able to address the issues. There is a potential plan that we will be discussing that will put the responsibility of homelessness exactly where it belongs, with those that were elected to say, I want to help fix this problem. This bill doesn't do that. We have a plan. I think, in my opinion, it would be great to allow it to work out organically and to be able to address the problem, and deal with it aggressively to be able to tackle the issues and the barriers that we have that I mentioned. So I as well ask, I plead with Senator Ashby to put a pause on this and allow us to come to the table to be able to address those issues that are really the barriers to addressing homelessness, the problems that we have of people not getting into the services they need, the housing they need, and all of the other impacts that address homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And just so members of the media understand, the meeting that the Vice Chair referenced in terms of bringing the cities together, that's a meeting that is scheduled for October 28th. It'll be a first of its kind. There's been interest by the Vice Chair as well as that coming from the city of Sacramento, most notably through the office of Councilmember Eric Guerra, who suggested that we actually have a joint city-county public hearing, an open session meeting with the full 9-member council, including the mayor of Sacramento, as well as, at my request, the mayors of the other cities. So a total of 20 elected officials will be invited. Certainly members of the public, it's an open hearing. The media, our nonprofit partners will also be very present, and will be welcoming their input. And the purpose of that meeting and the agenda is kind of in flux right now. It's developing with the insights from the vice chair, the mayor of Sacramento, myself, and Councilmember Guerra. But the agenda is intended to really not just brainstorm, but to really kind of come from that meeting. We hope to birth a kind of a new understanding, not just between the largest city and the county, but all of our municipal partners, about roles and responsibilities, how we're going to hold ourselves accountable, what metrics we want to use to determine success or the need for improvement. And so that's forthcoming on October 28th. Now I'd like to invite up my friend and colleague, Supervisor Pat Hume, who represents the 5th District, including the city of Elk Grove.
Thank you, Chair. I'll try and keep my comments brief, but I would like to first begin by addressing the elephant in the room, and that is that anybody with eyes and a brain can see that more needs to be done about homelessness. Everybody recognizes that it's a serious issue, and it requires greater coordination, greater collaboration. And so the senator, in her efforts and in what her intent behind this is spot on, as was mentioned. The issue that we have and the offense that we take is that it was not a collaborative effort that led to this proposed solution. And there are things that the county has put into place in motion already where we are looking at a different framework for a coordinated homelessness council that would involve all of the electeds from the different agencies, as well as the Continuum of Care, as well as SHRA, as well as agency staff, and really try and do it in a true collaborative nature and analyze the gaps and the strengths so that then we can move forward deliberately rather than coming up with a solution and foisting it upon others. And so I initiated a meeting with the senator, and we're going to have that later today. And my request is going to be that we take a breath and not try and jam this through, not try and rush to come to this solution, but that we actually step back and sit down and have a collaborative process and really look at what we've been doing at the county, what our other agency partners have been doing, and look at some of the unintended consequences that this would have, not the least of which that it proposes to essentially disband our identified Continuum of Care provider in favor of this new mega agency, which we believe is contrary to HUD's requirements of the makeup of a Continuum of Care board. And so there are functional issues, there are legal issues relative to the constitutionality of what's being proposed. And so I think if we can just pause and come to the table in good faith effort. I mean, if anything, if the intent is to drive collaboration, certainly she has our attention and the other agencies' attention. And so I would like to take sort of this moment and keep going on a positive trajectory rather than devolving into a situation of protectionism where folks are kind of looking at what the negative consequences to the individual jurisdictions are. Because if we don't approach this with collaboration, essentially all we're doing is squeezing the balloon. And we don't want to move problems around. We recognize the transitory nature of this population, and we want to try and get them connected to the help that they need, that they deserve, and ultimately into housing that supports them and helps them live a better life. So that's my ask, and I think we're all united in that, is that there is a better way to go about this process than this legislation. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Supervisor Hume. That concludes remarks this morning by members of the Board of Supervisors. I just want to say publicly how proud I am and how much I respect all my colleagues. We differ at times on things, as you would expect us to, but in an instance like this, where I think all of us are very sober and clear-eyed as it relates to the pitfalls of very poorly crafted legislation that was really presented in a rush, 11th hour, and what that could mean, not just for us as a local government, but most importantly, what it could mean in terms of the adverse consequences for the vulnerable people, families that we serve here in Sacramento County. With that, next speaker I want to introduce is one of our great municipal partners here in Sacramento County, someone who has a lot of experience, both through her family like mine, but in her own right as a very dedicated mayor for her city, the mayor of the city of Folsom, Sarah Aquino.
Thank you, Chair Cerna. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Aquino. I'm the mayor of Folsom, and on behalf of my council colleagues, I'm here to formally state our opposition to Senate Bill 802 as written. Like others, I want to actually begin my remarks by thanking Senator Ashby for her leadership and for kickstarting this conversation. She is absolutely correct. We do need more collaboration between cities and the county and between the urban and suburban areas to address the challenges of homelessness and housing in Sacramento County. And while we agree with Senator Ashby on the need for collaboration, we disagree on the timing. Senator Ashby believes that collaboration will happen when this new JPA is formed. We believe collaboration needs to happen now. We need to work collectively and not in factions, pitting suburban cities against the city of Sacramento and the county. We need to work collectively and not in factions to craft a solution that balances regional collaboration with local control. To do otherwise will result in a lengthy and costly legal battle that will actually delay construction of affordable housing and hurt the very people we're trying to help. Thankfully, as has been suggested, there is a very simple and elegant solution that's available to us today. Senator Ashby has the ability to make this a 2-year bill and give us a chance to truly collaborate on a meaningful solution for Sacramento County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for your words. Next, and I believe last on our speaker list this morning is City Councilmember Phil Pluckybaum from the city's 4th District. And I want to thank Phil in particular. He interrupted his vacation, his needed time off, as we all do here. The city's on recess, as I understand it, but took the time to actually leave his family and be here with us to stand in partnership on the subject as a representative for himself, and I believe he's going to again share some words on behalf of Mayor McCarty. So with that, Councilmember Pluckybaum.
Thank you, Supervisor. I've never worn sneakers and jeans in county chambers before, and that's why. I'm here today because we all understand the city of Sacramento has the largest population of people experiencing homelessness. This is not unique to Sacramento. Many metropolitan areas have a similar concentration of folks in their urban cores and their industrial areas. My district that represents downtown River District Rail Yards has certainly experienced disproportionate impacts of people experiencing homelessness, and we are working aggressively with our partners in the county to provide solutions for the folks that are experiencing homelessness in our community. I like my colleagues on the county board, was surprised to learn about this proposal, just weeks ago, right before it was introduced. Certainly my sense is that, the city and the county are working well in partnership together. I don't think it's reported often enough how successful, especially at the staff level, the collaboration and the coordination is between the city and the county. All of the cities in the larger Sacramento region are working aggressively to provide services for people experiencing homelessness in partnership with the county, and we need our partners at the state and federal level to engage in a similar way. The city, certainly welcomes the opportunity to, evaluate, the performance of SHRA and Sacramento steps forward. The county has already launched a performance audit of SHRA, and we look forward to seeing the results of that work. But this legislation feels like a bit of a short circuit of that process. So we hope that the authors will take a moment and work collaboratively with the jurisdictions that this would impact and build the regional support that a change like this would need. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. So with that, just some closing remarks. We did plan to have some other city representatives join us here today, those from Rancho Cordova and Elk Grove. But again, this speaks to the fact that this is legislation that unfortunately suffers from a mad rush to get to a forced conclusion in time for committee hearings beginning tomorrow. As late as 11:30 last night, my understanding is that the author was working with some of those city representatives in a deal, for lack of a better term, to gain their neutrality. And so I won't attempt to speak for them entirely, but for the past 2 weeks, it is a fact that Elk Grove, Rancho Cordova, Citrus Heights, City of Folsom, some members from the City of Sacramento, including the mayor, and the entirety of the Board of Supervisors have been walking lockstep, meeting with members of committees, other members of the legislature, to explain the nuanced reasons for why we think this is not the way to achieve the same common goal that we all share, including with the author, of a better way to serve those that need services, that are in shelter, that have mental and behavioral health needs. So with that, Janet, I don't know if you wanted to come up and help manage things, but again, appreciate the presence of local media here today, and I believe we're going to set it up for individual interviews if requested.
Thank you, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and break up, and anybody that is interested in an individual interview, you can connect with me, or we have a couple other PIOs around the room, and we can do them in different parts of this room or out in the lobby, depending on where people want to be. So if you have a request for any of the elected officials up here, just let us know, and we'll get you connected for your interviews and photo opportunities. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Are you guys going to do quick questions? Is it possible to ask all you questions while you're all up there?
Sure.
Okay, we can do that. So, Senator Angelique Ashby, I spoke with her 2 weeks ago.
I'm sorry, can you identify yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jeannie Nguyen with ABC 10. I spoke with Senator Ashby about 2 weeks ago. She acknowledged she's basically friends with all of you, and she said she knew introducing this bill would have pushback, and she's expecting amendments to the bill. So that being said, I mean, yes, this bill is going to be heard tomorrow in a committee. Are you guys going to present your preferred amendments? And is there a version of this bill that you guys believe will pass, that you are okay with?
No, I appreciate the question. So I will attempt to speak collectively for the county, and please someone step in if I'm being inaccurate. But I think our position has been consistent and clear since the surprise introduction of the gut and amend language, that in the attempt to force a new JPA, again, which we think is illegal, if that continues to be kind of the crux of what the author wishes to do, we will maintain our strong opposition. And it's not just opposition based on the fact that we think it's bad public policy. We think it's actually illegal. Our Homeless Services Director manages close to $50 million every year in funds for a multitude of different types of homeless services in Sacramento County. Those are contractual arrangements. This legislation would force the breakage of those contracts. So this is a bill, again, that really reflects the haste with which it was introduced. It reflects the fact that we were not at the table, and we feel like we're on the menu here. So to your question, the amendments would have to be wholesale amendments, and I'm not sure that is going to be satisfactory to the author. I think Mayor Aquino's suggestion that if she is intent on seeing this through, I think the best result we could hope for is that pause that, again, Supervisor Hume and others have mentioned in the form of extending this to a 2-year bill would give us that time for those of us that haven't even had a face-to-face with the author to explain kind of our position, and also to hear from her directly what she's hoping to achieve. And therein lies, again, the crux of the disappointment here, is that this bill really suffers from that lack of collaboration. And it's ironic because I think that was the intended spirit with which it was, attempting to engender was better collaboration. So I hope that answers your questions. Any other members? Yeah, please.
Again, Sarah Aquino, City of Folsom. As Chair Cerna mentioned in his opening remarks, when this bill was first introduced, to the surprise of many of us, all of the cities mentioned in the JPA and the County of Sacramento sent letters in opposition to the bill, and we also signed a collective letter. In the past 48 hours, there have been a flurry of negotiations between Senator Ashby's office and the 4 suburban cities, Folsom, Citrus Heights, Elk Grove, Rancho Cordova. And I really feel like we were put between a rock and a hard place. Do we stand on principle because we believe that local control is local control and collaboration is collaboration? Or do we kind of take the side of politics and we negotiate for our own best interest? And truly, it was an hour-by-hour, almost minute-by-minute negotiation. 7:30 last night, I would have thought I would have seen all of those cities here. By 11:30 p.m., it was clear that Folsom would be here today. I respect all of our partner agencies. We work well together. I think the suburban cities have a lot that we can share with the county and with the city of Sacramento about how we build affordable housing, how we manage the homeless situation. But I think, at least speaking for Folsom, we just felt it was right to just take a step back, take a pause, knowing that there is this option to do a 2-year bill.
Thank you, Mayor. Supervisor Hume reminds me of a good point that I think I would be remiss if I didn't stress here today, and that is, please don't just assume that we represent the opposition. The opposition is actually much wider than that. Both CSAC, the California State Association of Counties, League of California Cities have expressed opposition. There have been a number of homeless service nonprofit providers here in Sacramento County that have joined us in opposition. And that opposition came swiftly after the surprise introduction of the Continuum language. And it wasn't at the request of any of us. It was really just by their own volition that they understood that, again, the legislation from their perspective is rife with problematic elements. So we believe that despite the fact that maybe some of a couple of the cities in Sacramento County had these literally last-minute negotiations so that they could, the way I understand it, because I haven't had a chance to see the language, is to maintain control of their local housing dollars, but have a seat and governance, some governance authority on this new JPA. Really kind of puts fuel on the fire here. It actually makes us question even more so whether or not this kind of governance structure is going to collapse under its own weight based on how votes could potentially go with that kind of disparate interest expressed by different members of that new governing body, that being members of the Board of Supervisors, members from suburban cities, members from the City of Sacramento. So. Again, I would encourage all members of the media to please look far and wide as it relates to not just our forceful opposition, but that of others here in Sacramento County with the same concerns. Other questions?
I have one more.
Sure.
Senator Ashby had also said that, the idea of a JPA isn't a new idea. It's been done before in a successful manner, like in transit. And obviously you guys have a strong opposition to it. I mean, I guess what's your opinion on that in terms of JPAs have been successful before?
Yeah, if we're going to have a new JPA, let's have that discussion. And let's have it with the benefit of those that would be directly expected to participate, be most affected in terms of making sure that that new governance structure is going to be more effective and achieve the goals that are stated in whether it's legislation or if we do it holistically. That's not the issue. I don't think there's any reflexive opposition to the concept of carefully scrutinizing governance. And in fact, I would argue we're already doing that. It's already been set in motion. We've said it liberally already this morning that the county and the city of Sacramento and our suburban municipal partners are already exploring that. And we're going to have some historic meetings to do that in public so that the public has the benefit of understanding what's of concern. And maybe there's a better mousetrap out there. You don't do that by surprising us on the Friday before a Monday press conference. It's a poor way to legislate.
Chair.
Yes.
I just want to put a slightly finer point on that because that comes to the crux of the constitutional and legal issue at play and why some of these state associations are paying such close attention. And that is that within the statute that authorizes the creation of joint powers authorities, it calls out for the voluntary participation of the affected agencies. And so the idea that we would have a top-down mandate to create, that really erodes the intent, I think, of a joint powers authority. Thank you.
I also want to add that when we look at case studies, the Los Angeles attempted to do a form of JPA and failed miserably, and they still continue to be the city that is most impacted by the issues related to homelessness. So we do have an imprint that a JPA, especially one forced on like this, isn't going to have success. And I'm going to go back to, it continues to be government will continue to have bureaucratic barriers to addressing the issues with homelessness as opposed to getting to the root cause of the problems of why people continue to fall into homelessness.
So in the interest of respecting the time of our electeds, I'm going to break this up so that we can get to our individual interviews. So again, if you guys have specific requests for interviews, let me know and we'll get everybody connected. Thank you.